Hey guys, Richard here with the Geeks Retro, and today we're going to show you how to replace a crankshaft position sensor on a 2005 Dodge Caravan. Now this will work for all models of the 3.3 V6 that they offer for the Dodge Caravan from 2000 to 2005. Now it's a very simple process, not too hard, a little bit time consuming. Once you see how it's done, you're gonna freak out. So stay tuned and we'll be right back with you. Alright guys, we are back here now to show you. As you can see, I've already started removing some of the stuff here. I will show you exactly what I've removed, so that way it makes it that much easier for you to remove it. I apologize for all the traffic noise, just because we haven't gotten the garage finished yet to be able to set up for video and whatnot. The issue that we ran into with this as to why we're replacing the crank sensor is that we had a service light come on saying it was the camshaft position sensor. Well, unfortunately, the camshaft position sensor on this was replaced, and we were still having the same problems. The problems consisted of, of course, the service engine light coming on, but after doing a lot of research, I found out that the camshaft position sensors will sometimes not show a code, but it can still conflict with the camshaft position sensor. So this is the old one, as you can see here. It's been on there probably since the day this vehicle was ever made. Now what happens is, and it gives you the idea of knowing that this is an issue, because something else I've noticed in other videos, they don't explain what causes this. It'll take forever for the vehicle to start. That's one issue. It's a sign that maybe it's one or the other. The second issue is that, like, from about at 1400 RPMs, the vehicle will buck like it's missing out really bad, and then it'll pick back up and it'll be perfectly fine. Up to about 2400 RPMs, where it'll actually feel like you're bouncing off the rev limiter. The rev limiter basically it prevents the vehicle, because what it is the PCM is thinking that maybe the timing's off, and so therefore it won't let you rev high, so that way you don't damage the engine. Well, unfortunately, this can be caused due to either the camshaft position sensor or the crankshaft position sensor, and or both going bad. Now, the only other dilemma that we run into today is that, if this isn't the problem, the next step would be to check for wiring, like broken wires. There's been faulty wiring in these vehicles where the wires would actually melt together and cause bad signal, intermittent signal, bad grounding, things of that nature. So, like I said, stay tuned real quick, and we're going to pull everything together. I'm going to show you everything that I've taken apart, so that way you guys can see, easy, step by step, what you're going to need, how it's going to be taken off. Alright, so as you can see, first off, I took out the battery. You always want to DC your battery, because one, that'll help reset the memory in this, and it'll give the vehicle a chance to start over. But again, it's also for a safety feature. As you can see on mine, I had the wing nut on the ground, so I just took the wing nut off, ground came off, so problem solved there. Now, on the battery box, you'll see right here, you have one hole here, which is a 13 millimeter, and it'll look like this. It's just a simple bolt, nothing fancy. Then you'll have here, which is, hang on one second here. This here is where the battery clamp holds down. This is actually a sensor that actually tells the computer that the battery is in the proper spot and there's weight on it. Whenever the battery sits in here, it'll push this down. There's actually metal on the underside of this, which you can't really see, but underneath here, there's actually metal in there. And whenever the battery presses down, it pushes it makes a complete contact. So on the bottom side, there's this little plug right here that you're going to have to disconnect. You'll have a vacuum right here. This one here is actually attached to this lovely little guy. Okay? This guy here is held in right here, and then right here. Those are also a 13 millimeter. So it'll sit just like this, and then this here will actually plug into the back of this, and then your other that long tube on the battery box actually plugs into this. Then your other vacuum hose looks just like this, which actually plugs into the bottom, which I think this is more. I don't even think it's a. Never mind, I am an idiot. This is not a vacuum. This is actually a drain. My apologies. You guys can sue me later. It doesn't matter. The point is it's out. Now, this here is the plug that plugs into the bottom of the crankshaft position sensor. Pulling it out the bitch So the smartest thing I can tell you is just slide this, pull the crankshaft position sensor out, which is a 10mm bolt. Pull that out, then slide this over, and then this plug will slide right off. This is the plug. Hang on one sec. Actually, I did the wrong one. Sorry, this is the plug that actually plugs in the back of this unit right here. This plug down here is the one, which they both have the same connector. This is the plug that plugs into the crankshaft position sensor. Again, my apologies for giving the wrong information, but at least I made it right. Here's the plug and what it looks like that goes into the bottom of the battery sensor. So stay tuned. We're going to plug this back in and give her a crank over and see if it works. Oh yeah, and just before I forget this, your crankshaft position sensor is located down here underneath your manifold, right in this area. It's basically, oh yeah, there it is. It's right here on the back side of the block. Or it actually is right on the back side where the transmission and the block meet together. So it's going to be down here underneath this section here, and it's actually going to kind of face towards your back firewall. So once you remove that, you pull the other piece out. Like I said, it's 10mm bolt. Once you pull that out, you're good to go. It'll slide right out. This is what your new one's going to look like. It's gonna be pretty and shiny, you know. It's whatever. It's a new sensor. We're gonna go with that and see how it works, and then I'll let you know. Stay tuned. All right, guys, I'm back. This is the finalization of it all. After getting the crankshaft position sensor installed, the van runs great again. No more hesitation, no more delays or knocking or bucking. So I'm very happy to see that was only the issue. Make sure you guys, if you like what you see and you're happy with it, or if you have suggestions or ideas or other vehicles that you need me to look into or work on, make sure you guys hit me up in a comment in the messages that you see down below, and or you can check us out at the Geeks of Retro on Facebook at facebook.com/the Geeks of Retro, or you can shoot us an email at gmail.com or thegeeksretro@gmail.com. Either which way, thanks for looking and listening, guys, and you guys have a wonderful evening.